Hello, Rockets. This is Mr. Ackley. We just want to take a little bit of time to send you a video to update you on some of the changes that will occur for our hybrid for the K2 families that chose to come back to school starting next week, Monday, December 7th. We are so excited to see you. It's been a long time since we've seen you. We're excited to see you back at school. However, school is going to look a little different while we're in this world pandemic. We want to kind of communicate those things to you, the students, and also to the parents. So parents, you can reinforce these changes for your student upon returning next week, Monday. The big things that we're going to reiterate are the things we've been talking about throughout my morning announcements, which are the big three. We're calling them the big three. We're talking about masking, wearing our masks, keeping our social distance from each other, and also washing our hands and making sure that we're using good hygiene techniques as we go. So as you can see this PowerPoint, this is my first Loom Rock because I'm kind of excited to figure out how to do Loom. Miss Olson taught me. She's the person that's got all the Loom experience doing her guidance lessons. So I love that banner, right? The Rocket Way. You can't go wrong, friends, when you're showing respect and empathy and kindness and responsibility and self-control. And we're going to have to show those things upon our return next week. So I thought this was cute. The first one we talk about is mask wearing. And you know what? All of the kids that I've seen come into Royal Oaks have done an excellent job of wearing their masks. Parents that have come in to pick up books or drop things off, mask wearing has been great. Thank you very much. Our teachers are wearing their masks when they're not live Zooming or not live recording so that you can see their beautiful smiles. But when we are at school, we're going to have our masks on all the time. You see our friend here has got it right in the bottom right-hand corner. All those other things where it's not covering your mouth or your nose is the wrong way to wear a mask. That's kind of a funny picture, isn't it, friends? But we will give you mask breaks. So different parts, at least twice, if not 3 times, including lunch, teachers are going to plan intentional mask breaks where we're going to go outside, get a little fresh air. We can take our masks off if you choose. I just want you to think about Rockets and Rocket parents, how you want to keep those masks dry and clean while we go outside, because we're wearing the masks to the door. Once we get outside, we can take our mask off. Inhale that beautiful, crisp winter air that's coming our way, and then play a little bit, take some walks, get some movement, and then come back into the classroom, or back into school, mind you, and put the mask back on. So we'll be taking some intentional mask breaks, and we'll also be taking our masks off at lunch, obviously. So think about how you want to keep your mask nice and dry and clean, friends. So you'll need to have your mask on when you enter the building every day. So we have 3 specific entrances, and you can see Rocky there has his mask on. He's been practicing good masking skills. Every time I've seen him, Rocky has been a great role model for all of our Rockets, big and small, like me and like you. So nice job, Rocky. And Rocky we're going to have enter only, and then we'll have exit only as well. And if you look here, we are going to have some intentional entering of the school building. In families, if you're dropping them off, you can drop your Rocket off anytime after 8:10, not before, please. Anytime after 10, all of the bus students will be dropped off after 8:10. And all of our K-1-2 students that chose hybrid will be going to a specific door, and they'll simply be entering the building upon arrival. There'll be no morning recess. So if your son or daughter gets here and they get dropped off the bus, our second graders are going to enter the front door, door number 1. They're going to come through the front of the building, go to their cubbies, hang their things up in their cubbies. We'll have staff directing traffic the first couple weeks, and then we'll have our classroom teachers directing the kids back to the classroom, and that's really where they're going to stay for a huge portion of their school day. First graders are going to go to the back doors, our main playground entrance door, door 5, and then kindergarten will be dropped off on the far east side of our drop-off area, down on the east side of our building. Walk the kindergarten path around, right tight to the building, and right through door number 4, our kindergarten doors. Again, we'll have staff there waiting to direct your son or daughter. Right down kindergarten hallways, they'll hang their book bags and their jackets and snow pants eventually, hats and mittens, all the things that we need at winter time, in their cubbies, and then boom, into their classroom right there, and the teacher will take it from there, both live and virtually in that time. So that's what we're excited to try out, and a little anxious if we're being honest. Well, trying to see how that's going to work, but we've talked to some other school districts that have done it this way, and they have been very promising conversations with our colleagues across the area. So we'll see how that works. But again, open, honest, respectful communication solves just about any problem I can think of. So if you have questions or concerns, please use your first point of contact with your son or daughter's classroom teacher. So when we get into the building, we're going to be entering the Learning Center on the right, coming out of the Learning Center on the left. That's just our best efforts to keep our kids socially distanced. So we talked about masking. Now we're talking about keeping our social distance. That's the whole reason why we're not clustering at doors to enter the building. We're keeping our kids spaced out as they come, they enter. As they come, they enter at their cubbies and they go down to their classroom. It's just a steady flow of kids is what we're anticipating. And all along the time, making sure that we have staff directing the kids in the right places. But we will enter in the Learning Center and exiting the Learning Center on specific doors. The next one of the big three is sanitizing. So we're going to be sanitizing your hands. We have sanitizers at the front doors, at the back doors, and kindergarten doors. We'll have sanitized stations all over the place for your rocket to keep their hands germ-free from spreading any viruses. So that'd be great. Just something to think about, kids, is when you're waiting to get to the hand sanitizer, to keep your social distance, right? To keep your distance when you're waiting to get to the hand sanitizer or when you're waiting to wash your hands at the sinks outside the bathrooms. So when you get here, we're going to look a little goofy. I'm just going to go on record that we're going to look a little different. It's not the Miss Shellhammer, Miss Olson, or Miss Plazak that you're used to looking at. And you're going to definitely see Mr. Ackley wearing all sorts of different things. You'll see him he'll have my rocket mask with the rockets launching on my mask. You're going to have all sorts of different things going on. You're going to have my standby, which I've had since the beginning, and this one needs to be washed. So you have my smiley face. So you're going to see teachers that look differently than what you remember them. Just know that we are the same person, and we are here to keep you safe. That's why we are wearing the masks and the shields. And it's also to keep us safe. We're all moms and dads, aunts and uncles, sons and daughters, and we want to make sure that we're keeping our loved ones safe as well. So that's why we are looking the way that we're looking. I kind of think that we look like we just came off of Star Wars, for those of you that know anything about Star Wars. Your parents will know about Star Wars. So this is all in our efforts to keep you and us safe. Getting into the classroom, this is where all the rubber hits the road, friends. This is the meat and potatoes of what we're doing. So your teachers this week will be setting up their classrooms very intentionally, and that means with a lot of purpose. They're going to be setting up their room with a lot of purpose in mind. The purpose is to give you the best learning instruction they can, to keep you safe, to keep you socially distanced from others so that the germs don't come onto your desk or into you. So your teachers will be setting up the classroom. Now you're going to probably have a couple spots where you can learn. Obviously you're going to have a desk. You're probably going to have a poly spot or a spot in the classroom somewhere where you'll have some reading opportunity. And then the teacher, of course, will have the computer set up somewhere for all of your virtual learning friends. All of your classmates that chose to stay home for virtual learning, or it's just not their cohort day. So you may be a cohort or a B cohort. Your mom and dad have been communicated with that, so they know what you are. And cohort A comes on Mondays and Tuesdays from 8:10 until 3:18. We start school at 8:20, but you can arrive at 8:10 and just come right in the building. And then we're done at 3:18. And then again, your folks will pick you up. You'll exit the same doors. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But your classroom will look a little bit different, kids. But it's going to have the same loving teacher and the same smart teacher there to teach all the good stuff. So guess what you're also going to do in your classroom? You are also going to eat lunch in your classroom. I know, we kind of wonder how this one's going to go, but we've got a good plan in place, friends. We're going to continue to do recess before lunch. So when it's time for recess, you'll all have a specific area on the playground where you're going to play, because we want to keep the cohorts together. So all of Mrs. Ziegler's kids are going to play in the same place on the playground. All of Mrs. Anderson's kids are going to play in the one place in the playground. And all of Mrs. Borchardt's kids are going to play at one place in the playground. And then we're going to rotate that throughout different recesses so that you can get a little variety in your equipment, in the playground equipment. Okay? But when you go out for recess, your teachers will quickly just spray down your desks, and we'll wipe them off and make sure they're clean for when you come back in to grab your lunch out of your backpack, or if you chose hot lunch, to have your hot lunch delivered to the classroom by Miss Barbie, and you can start eating in your classroom. We just want you to think about keeping it as clean as possible. We know it's lunch and we're going to have some crumbs on the ground, but if you could keep it clean for Mr. Hernandez, that would be great. And then everything that we're using for lunches will be thrown away. We're not going to use any hard trays. We're going to use all disposable materials. So we'll have big garbages there in your classroom. Just throw them in the garbages, and Mr. Hernandez will come by and get them. And that's the end of it. And we're going to continue to learn. Now you say learning, Mr. Ackley. That's right, friends. That's the main thing we're talking about, learning and safety. So to be safe in your work area, we have some specific things. You see our models here. We have masks on. We still have headsets if you want them. You see the electronic devices. You know, we're going to have some spots for you to sit in your classroom. Your teachers will. So we want to talk about your workplace for a little bit, okay? Your workplace is going to be set up pretty specifically for you. You're going to have all your own supplies, okay? You'll have your own work area. You won't be sharing a workspace with anybody else in your cohort. You'll mostly stay in that area to do your work, as you can see on this PowerPoint. And lastly, we're going to make sure that you use your own supplies. So whether that's a pencil case that stores them, or if there's some other way that your teacher has set up, they will be communicating that to you and your families. But we will not be sharing supplies. So when you come into school, you're going to go right to your work area. Okay? Your teachers will give you some directions to keep you safe, and we'll get going with reading, math, and writing. And then your specials are actually going to come to your classroom too. Art is going to come teach art in your classroom. Music is going to teach music in your classroom sometimes, but there's sometimes where, because Royal Oaks is unique with our open concept, you may be taken back to the music room too. But that will all be cleaned appropriately before you get in there. And then Mr. Whalen and Mr. Henning and Ms. Gerber are going to do some PE lessons where some might be in your classroom and sometimes we may go outside. We're not going to be able to go to the gym yet, hopefully soon. But right now we're going to go outside for some if the weather is acceptable. Okay? Just the other thing is making sure we're keeping 6 feet apart, friends. That's the big thing. They've got their masks on. We're keeping our 6 feet apart, even on the playground. Okay, we want to make sure you're keeping 6 feet apart. And we're really not even going to line up much on the playground. Once the bell rings, or once it's time for you to come in from playground, from when Mrs. Meesbeck or Michelle Hammer or Miss McDonald or Miss Landini tell you to, you're just going to go by your cubbies, hang up your backpack, or your jacket, excuse me, and then head in the classroom. And we're taking a couple different breaks throughout the day just to keep people moving. Now when you get back in the classroom, how do you ask for help? Because we really want you to keep at your desk. You just have to display self-control today, friends, and every day. Because that self-control, your teacher is going to get you. You have to remember that your teacher is going to have some kids on the computer and some kids in the classroom. So your teacher is going to be juggling these two groups of people. So she and he will do their best to get to you as soon as they can. So keep your hand up, stay in your area, and most importantly, be patient. Another way that we can be respectful and responsible by showing the Rocket Way at Royal Oaks is by wearing a headset. Because there's going to be some online information for you to gather when you're even in person. So making sure that you're not distracting other kids in your group, in your cohort, is huge. So make sure you bring some headphones, and if you don't, we may have some for you, so that helps everyone to focus on learning. And then I think we're getting pretty close to the end here, friends. Oh, we got one quick little video on keeping our hands washed. So let's take a listen to what Rocky's teaching us here.
Hey kids, wash your hands for 20 seconds to stop germs from spreading. 20 seconds is the same time it takes to sing the happy birthday song 2 times in a row. On your mark, get set, wash. Wet your hands with warm water. Now use soap and make lots of bubbles. Wash the front and back of your hands. Great job. Don't forget to wash between your fingers. You can do it. Now rinse and dry your hands really, really well. Hooray! And now you're hand-washing heroes. A message from the Government of Canada.
Well, thank you, Canada. I bet you we have some American videos too, friends, but we just wanted to watch the Canadian one today, just to give you a little variety, to make you more international. So there's Rocky. Actually, see Rocky's by himself washing his hands. So, we're going to keep our social distance when we're out there washing hands with our friends. So, I want to go over these couple things because there were some specific things. Actually, they went over those things. They went over warm, keeping running water, warm or cold, lather up with soap, scrub it for 20 seconds, rinsing, and then drying your hands. And then you're set to go, Rockets. And we are set to go. So we are, as we started out, we are excited to see you. But we also want to make sure that we're doing this right. Rockets do things right. We play hard, we work hard, we do things right. We show the Rocket way, we follow the rules, we do our best to keep everyone safe and make sure that we are engaging in the learning and we are truly living out our mission of to be highly engaged learners who own the learning process. So hopefully you've learned some things about hybrid will look like when we come back on Monday, December 7th. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your teachers or to us here in the main office in preparation for next week. Have a great last week of November, first couple days of December, and we will see you soon.